Don in London. Hello, it's March 17th, 2010. My videos, are all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol. I was almost tempted to say life then, but it was alcohol. It was outside of me. And behaviour, equally addictive, relationships, work, materialism, the gym, food. The list could be endless because I was trying to fix myself and there was something wrong. I hadn't learned life. Simple as that. I was not a good student of living my life. I was a good student of living the life I thought I ought to live. And there's a big difference. It was driven by fear. I know that now. But I was in ignorance for a long time. And these days, learning how to live the life with choices, for me, has made a great difference to how my outlook is on a daily basis. So, 35 years of drinking, not sure when I crossed the line from conviviality to dependence to addiction, because I don't know what I was fixing with half the time. All those things were going on. As I say, if it wasn't alcohol, work, relationships, anything, to take the edge off and feel happy in some way. But there was always an emptiness there, and although those years were filled with love, I don't know how deep it was, because I was a pretty superficial and indifferent understander of life, if there is such a word as understander. I don't think there is, but I didn't understand life too well, so my understanding of my emotional state was not that good. I was good at recognising the emotional state of others and understanding what would help them make life work, and that was one of my careers. In fact, it was probably the best career I ever had, understanding why people ticked. But if I actually had to apply it to me and look in the mirror, I would always take a drink first, I suspect, or try and fix myself. So when I looked in the mirror, I was looking at the appearance of what I could be rather than the appearance of what I am. That was just too hard. So looking in the mirror, deep inside, and not really finding very much there. So recovery for me is about finding out who I am on a daily basis. I don't need to know who I am when I wake up in the morning, other than I'm Don, I'm in recovery, I'm an alcoholic, and life is improving if I am engaged and open to life working. So life stopped working because I couldn't fix it, and that was self-will turned to self-obsession, and then self-will run riot. So, I didn't run around rioting, although I did a lot of rioting type things, or riotous behaviour, and thoroughly enjoyed a lot of it, because that's all I knew. So these days, with a bit of luck, or providence, and letting go and letting others help me, I have a better chance of understanding how life can be one day at a time. So what's helped me in recovery? Well, the love of family, friends, community, the help of professionals, and a fellowship which I never thought I would even go to or even apply to me. And that fellowship is AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And I had every doubt about something external, a fellowship or anything, having the wisdom to fix me, because I'd learned that I was self-propelling. Self will run riot a lot of the time. So for me, it's been a revelation these last few years, how it is to be a part of life rather than trying to control it. Because every time I tried to control life, I was as much a prisoner of everything I was doing, because I did it because I wanted to look right rather than be right. So there is no right and wrong, really. We just learn. We learn how it is. So AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, I don't speak for it, but if I didn't share about it, it would be me excluding a big part of what keeps me healthy, or as healthy as I can be in recovery. And it's been a salutary lesson to let people into my life. But sometimes we are isolated, because isolation is sometimes a preference, and sometimes we are just solitary. And at the moment I'm in between the two. I've had to stay home and look after my broken foot, fractures in my metatarsals, displaced, which is very painful, and I can't have an operation. I'm not allowed, being diabetic, just in case of infection, because then I'll have no foot to complain about. So that's me at the moment. A bit solitary, a bit isolated, but I'm okay because I've had 1 or 2 phone calls and I've got visitors later. So AA, how's it helped me? I'm going to share the statement of intent and then a bit of the literature which helps me on a daily basis. Ask myself some questions and ask questions of others how it may help me. So AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses or opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And there were 1 or 2, I suppose, exchanges yesterday about, what is important in the fellowship. And for me, it's open, honest, and willing to share our truth. And open, honest, and willing to listen to the truth of others is equally important. And 1 or 2 comments about belief and faith on my Facebook, which suggested that sometimes people roll their eyes at other people's faith. Well, that means we're judging and we're not listening, or we judge it before we've heard what a person is saying. And often we just need to listen to what they are saying, because they have a perfect right to share it. And the less we judge it, the better it is. And Thomas Jefferson I mentioned yesterday? Well, yes, it was. Question with boldness even the existence of a God, because if there be one, he must more approve of the homage of reason than that of blindfolded fear. And he also said, it does me no injury for my neighbour to say there are 20 gods or no God. It doesn't do me any injury, and what we come to understand is important to us. Anyway, daily reflections for today, this one, sharing experience, strength and hope, 1 page a day, all about the 12 steps, and this month it's step 3, about letting go and letting good in, or letting God into our lives, the God of your understanding, not mine. 20 gods or 1 God or no God, it's your choice. So it says for March 17th, if I get the right page, mysterious ways. Out of every season of grief or suffering, when the hand of God seemed heavy or even unjust, new lessons for living were learned, new resources of courage were uncovered, and that finally, inescapably, the conviction came that God does move in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. And for me, that's letting the world in, truth, love, and the wisdom of others. And that is mysterious to me, and it's a kind of magic too. It goes on to say, after losing my career, family and health, I remained unconvinced that my way of life needed a second look. My drinking and other drug use were killing me, but I never met a recovering person or an AA member. Killing me, but I never had met a recovering person or another AA member. I thought I was destined to die alone, and that I deserved it. At the peak of my despair, my infant son became critically ill with a rare disease. Doctors' efforts to help him proved useless. I redoubled my efforts to block my feelings, but now the alcohol had stopped working. I was left staring into God's eyes, begging for help. My introduction to AA came within days, through an odd series of coincidences, and I've remained sober ever since. My son lived, and his disease is in remission. The entire episode convinced me of my powerlessness and unmanageability of my life. Today my son and I thank God for his intervention. And somewhere in there is the truth of now, that sober we can face life, and that sometimes coincidences do seem mysterious in the most mysterious way. But that serenity prayer, when everything's up or down, always helps me try and find balance each and every day. So to God or good conscience, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference is, for me, just for today.